The Airbus A380 was a marvel, a true giant of the skies that captured imaginations worldwide. When it debuted in 2005, its sheer size and double-decker design promised a new era of luxury and comfort. With space for over 500 passengers, and even up to 853 in all economy, it dwarfed every other aircraft at the airport. Airlines like Emirates and Singapore Airlines turned the A380 into a flying palace with onboard bars, lounges, and private suites. Passengers loved the quiet, spacious cabin, a unique experience in long-haul travel. The A380 became a flagship and a symbol of prestige for every airline that flew it. But behind the glamour, the A380 faced tough realities. Airbus had bet on a future where mega-hubs would need super jumbos to move huge crowds. The plan: fly masses into central airports, then connect them onward, but the world was already changing. The A380's 4 engines made it expensive to operate, especially as fuel prices rose. Airlines struggled to fill all those seats profitably, and the operational costs were daunting. The dream of a luxurious, spacious super jumbo clashed with the harsh economics of modern aviation. Even before it became a common sight, the A380's future was already facing turbulence. Its story would become one of unfulfilled potential. A gentle giant beloved by passengers but out of step with the times. As the A380 struggled, Airbus considered a lifeline, the A380 NEO, or new engine option. The NEO concept had already revolutionized the A320 and A330, making them more efficient and wildly popular. The plan for the A380 NEO was simple: new, fuel-saving engines, likely from Rolls-Royce, and aerodynamic tweaks like larger winglets. These upgrades promised a 10–13% fuel burn reduction, saving millions per aircraft each year. Emirates, the A380's biggest fan, was ready to order up to 200 A380 NEOs if Airbus committed. Such an order could have kept the production line alive for another decade and maybe attracted other airlines. The industry buzzed with hope. Could a more efficient A380 finally deliver on its promise? The A380 NEO was tantalizingly close to reality, but the market was shifting fast, and even a more efficient super jumbo faced big challenges. The dream of a reborn A380 was alive, if only for a moment. The question: would it be enough to change the A380's fate? The answer would soon become clear. Airbus once predicted it would sell over 1,200 A380s in 20 years. In reality, only 251 were ever ordered, a fraction of the forecast. The A380's massive development cost, over 25 billion euros, meant Airbus needed hundreds more sales just to break even. Most airlines balked at the price tag and the cost of airport upgrades needed for the super jumbo. Emirates alone accounted for nearly half of all orders, making the program dangerously dependent on a single customer. Other airlines like Singapore, Lufthansa, and Qantas bought only small numbers. As demand faded, some carriers canceled or reduced orders. Others, like Air France, retired their fleets early. The numbers told a clear story. The world's biggest passenger plane was a commercial struggle. The A380 never became profitable. Airlines preferred more flexible, efficient jets. The super jumbo's market simply never materialized as Airbus had hoped. The writing was on the wall for the A380. Could new engines have saved the A380? On paper, yes, a 13% fuel burn reduction would have been a game-changer. Rolls-Royce's next-gen engines promised better efficiency, lower noise, and fewer emissions. A quieter, more economical A380 could have appealed to airlines and airports alike. But developing a new engine is a multi-billion-dollar gamble. Engine makers needed a big order book to justify the investment. Beyond Emirates, few airlines showed real interest in a re-engined A380. Airbus couldn't commit without engine partners, and engine makers wouldn't commit without more airline orders. It was a classic stalemate. The technical solution was there, but the business case just didn't add up. In the end, financial risk, not technology, sealed the A380 NEO's fate. Why didn't airlines embrace the A380 NEO? The answer: the industry's business model had changed. The old hub-and-spoke system was giving way to point-to-point travel, enabled by efficient twin-engine jets. Planes like the 787 and A350 could fly directly between smaller cities, bypassing mega-hubs. The A380 was too big for most routes, needing to fly nearly full to break even, a huge risk if demand dipped. Smaller twins offered flexibility, add flights when demand is high, scale back when it's low. The A380's size also limited it to a handful of airports with special infrastructure. Most airports couldn't handle its wingspan or double-decker boarding. Airlines wanted planes that could go almost anywhere, not just a few select cities. Even with new engines, the A380 NEO would still be a massive, expensive gamble. The market wanted versatility and lower risk. In that contest, nimble twins beat the mighty giant every time. The economics just didn't favor the super jumbo anymore. Airlines moved on. As the A380 faded, the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 soared. These twin jets were built for efficiency, lightweight composites, advanced aerodynamics, and just two powerful engines. Fewer engines meant lower fuel and maintenance costs, and modern engines were reliable enough for long, over-water flights. Airlines loved the flexibility, served both busy and niche routes profitably. The order books told the story. Over 1,100 Dreamliners and 600-plus A350s delivered, compared to just 251 A380s. Passengers enjoyed quieter cabins, bigger windows, and better air quality. The twins offered much of the comfort of the A380, but in a package that made economic sense. The rise of these jets sealed the A380's fate. Airlines voted with their wallets for efficiency and versatility. The age of the super jumbo was over. The future belonged to the twins. The market had spoken. 2 engines, not 4. With production ended and fleets retiring, what happens to old A380s? Many are parted out, their engines and components sold to keep others flying. But some find new lives, a few are being converted to freighters despite the engineering challenges. Others are being transformed into luxury private jets, with plans for onboard suites and fine dining. The final A380 built went to Emirates, marking the end of an era with a heart-shaped flight over Germany. Emirates still flies the A380 and plans to keep them in service into the 2030s. For now, the best way to experience this giant is to fly with them. The story of the A380's afterlife is still unfolding. Its legacy lives on, even as its role changes. Imagine if Airbus had launched the A380 NEO in 2017, backed by Emirates' huge order. The skies today might be filled with quieter, more efficient super jumbos. Other airlines could have joined in, modernizing their fleets and opening new routes. The A380 NEO might have become the go-to for high-density, long-haul travel. But even in this alternate reality, the shift to point-to-point flying would persist. The A380 NEO would still be a niche player, though a more successful one. Its life might have been extended, but the core challenge, filling all those seats, would remain. The real impact would be on passenger experience, more innovation, more luxury, more flying palaces in the sky. The dream would have lasted a little longer, but the market's direction was clear. The A380 story is a lesson in aviation. Size and luxury don't guarantee success. It was a technical marvel, but built for a future that never arrived. The market shifted to smaller, more efficient planes, and Airbus adapted. The decision not to build the A380 NEO was tough, but wise. The future is about smarter, cleaner, more flexible aircraft, not bigger ones. Hydrogen, sustainable fuels, and new technologies are the next frontier. The era of the super jumbo is over, but its legacy endures. The A380 gave millions a unique flying experience and pushed engineering boundaries. It will be remembered as a bold, beautiful giant that flew against the winds of change. In aviation, adaptability always wins.